Hello friends, it is Link the Gulf Coast Gardener. Today is Friday, January the 3rd. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm looking forward to 2025. It's going to be the best year ever and definitely the best gardening season ever. And I want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, which is kind of crazy in my mind. But thank you for subscribing. Don't forget to like, share it with your gardening friends. And here at the beginning of January, I thought we'd do a quick tour around the garden and see what's growing before we have a cold front move in. So let's get started. We've been out of town since before Christmas, and the gardens are actually doing really well. We've had a mild late December and a mild early January. There was a whole bunch of rain last week, and plants love nothing better than sunshine, mild weather, and rain. And so everything looks great out here, including this salad mix. This is All-Star Gourmet Lettuce Mix from Johnny's Selected Seeds. I had cut this down to almost nothing before we left, and look, it's back to a full bed of lettuce. I'll be doing 3 or 4 cuttings on this patch before I'll have to start some more, maybe in early spring, maybe not right away, but really happy with this All-Star lettuce mix. Now this is some salvias that I'm just storing here in this Birdie's raised bed for the winter, so I don't got to worry about having everything in plastic containers. They'll winter over just fine and be ready to dig up and transplant in the fall. And check out this flower bed. This is amazing. This is a fall planted flower garden. It's got a whole bunch of different seeds in it from various seed packets that I've had over the years, and wow, it looks gorgeous. Having really good luck with these cosmos. I talk about these all the time. What an incredible fall flower. It's a short day flower, so it flowers profusely in the fall when the days get shorter. So you can plant these in late summer, early fall, and you can have cut flowers for weeks, if not months. Beautiful. Now on this side, look how pretty. I finally got a really nice stand of cilantro growing. I struggled with some worms and some bad weather, but the recent nice weather and rain coupled with just some really healthy plants, absolutely beautiful. This will survive throughout the entire winter. I've had good luck with cilantro surviving even the hardest freezes here. We had a 20-degree freeze that lasted for a week a couple of years ago, and the only thing that lived in the garden was the cilantro. Now this is Cruiser variety from Johnny's Selected Seeds. Love this Cruiser, and it's the only variety I grow. And over here I've just got some overwintering plants as well. I've got this big rosemary, which is doing really well, and I've got some peppermint plants in there, along with my Atlas gloves, my favorite gloves to wear. And look at this arugula. I've actually got 2 patches here. First, this is the first patch that I planted. I've been cutting on it, and I just can't keep up with it. And this was a succession planting, which is now ready to be harvested again. Absolutely beautiful. And when you get this nice thick stand of arugula or greens like this, you really don't even need to wash them because the water, when it rains, it rinses them off. But since there's so much coverage of foliage, there is no dirt that splashes up on the plants. So I rarely wash these greens. You might get a little grit of dirt once in a while, but almost never. So it's really nice. And when you don't get the greens all wet, they stay nice and firm. Now, this is the tomato project, and I'm gonna rule this as unsuccessful. I got these started in the first week of September, but it just is not early enough. I've had a couple of gorgeous plants. Now this is a Sun Sweet 100, a Sweet 100 cherry tomato. I had a handful of tomatoes, but not a lot. The wind's kind of beaten it up recently. And this is a celebrity, and it's one of the prettiest tomato plants I've ever grown. But I just needed another couple of weeks of warm weather, of warm sunny weather. This thing is loaded with tomatoes. I mean, there are probably 100 tomatoes on this plant. It's just full of them on the inside of this plant, but they're just not greening up. I believe it's due to a lack of warmth versus a lack of sun, but I need to get my fall tomatoes started probably the first week of August to do my succession planting. So lesson learned. But I'm gonna grow some celebrity in the spring. I'm gonna start seeds, and I'm gonna have celebrity tomatoes in my garden as well as for sale. I mean, just look at this plant, absolutely gorgeous. Now over here, we've got just kind of a mishmash of 4-inch pots. I grow a lot of ice plant, and this is an ice plant with a little red flower on it. And this is one of the easiest plants in the world to transplant. Maybe the easiest, could not be simpler. You just snip a branch, drop it in some dirt in a 4-inch pot just like this, and it will root. All of these plants are rooted. I get 100% success rate with rooting. And look, I've got 3 trays of these big, beautiful purple ones. This was a showstopper with the flowers, and so I'm going to have 20, 40, 60 of these available in the spring, and you only need a couple of them in a big container, and they will flower all summer long. They did great on our hot and windy deck, so I couldn't be happier with how the ice plants worked out. Now over here, you see 2 trays that actually are not germinating. I planted more of my Mexican oleander, but I guess it just wasn't warm enough. 0% germination. Everything doesn't always work out in the garden. Over here I've got Pride of Barbados that I got some seed from neighbors. I think I only see 3 or 4 germinations, so out of those, not too much luck. I'll probably just compost all that dirt or plant it in something else. And down here we got quite a few salvia plants. I'm going to have a bumper crop of salvia in the spring, all different colors. I'll have a purple salvia, a blue salvia called Victoria Blue. I'll have the red salvia, which is the scarlet sage, the native Texas salvia. And then I'm also growing something called coral nymph, which is absolutely beautiful. This beautiful coral colored salvia, which also did really well on my deck. So just got some various potted plants back here. A couple of society garlic, interestingly enough. That's a super tough plant. Survives freezes. And these 2 survived saltwater flood in the yard. You couldn't even tell they had salt water. They did absolutely great, and they flower all the time. So society garlic is a superstar for your Gulf Coast Zone 9B. And over here, yet more salvias. These are all that I started from seed, gosh, I don't know, a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, and then I potted them up into 4-inch pots before we went out of town for Christmas. These are salvias actually right here, more of the coral nymph. And over here, look how pretty those are. That is a violet. That's a native plant, native to much of the United States, eastern and southeastern United States, a lot of the country. And it's the host plant for several of the fritillary butterflies, so I really like growing violets. Got a handful of plants over here. I've got some Mexican oleanders, which I'll have to throw in the garage if it's going to freeze, but we'll get those sold or planted in the spring. Another really pretty, that's another rosemary plant. And I've got a couple more around the side of the house. And wandering back this way, more plants. So we are really getting geared up for the spring plant sale. As you can see, I've got some beautiful hollyhocks here that I started from seed. I saved the seeds from my hollyhocks over the summer, and look, they germinated really well. This is creeping thyme, a really pretty ground cover, which you can also use in the kitchen if you want to. I've got some Peggy Martin rose cuttings back there that are rooting. They're growing slowly, and then you may recognize some of these. This is a whole bunch more of salvia. I got more of the 3 kinds of salvia, and yet more salvia. And a couple other things over here. Now this is lemon mint. This is the first time I'm growing Monarda from seed. One of the prettiest flowers I've ever grown. It was part of a seed mix that I grew last year, also planted in the fall, and then I bought some seed this year, and they germinated really well. And this is oregano right next to that. Herbs do really well here. I'll have plenty of oregano in the spring, and I've got 2 more trays of those beautiful lemon mints, which is called, it's Monarda citriodora. It is a native Texas plant. The pollinators absolutely love it, and so will you. So the gardens are shaping up pretty nice. I have a feeling they're gonna get whacked pretty soon. We're gonna have a stretch of 5 or 6 days in 30-degree weather. The lettuce will do fine, the arugula will do fine. We'll just have to see how everything else does. Well, thanks for watching, and as always, have a fantastic day.